Welcome back to the channel. In the last one, I bought this RS Focus, and you might be thinking, that's pretty cool, RS Focuses, nice little cars, little pocket rockets, but this one has one little thing wrong with it, which allowed me to get it at a bit of a bargain. And in that episode, I also found out that I know the previous owner of the car, Zach. Now, Zach also happens to be the winner of Australian Ninja Warrior.
If he can make it up onto the slingshot and parallel bar he needs to jump onto. The tension in every time he lands it.
Oh, Zach Stoltz, he's on course to be...
Zach Stoltz is up and away in the most important climb on the top. Is he gonna make it? He's done it! Yes! He's done it! He's made it! He's made it to the top. Our furthest fastest for 2021 is, of course, officially Zach Stoltz.
So I sent him a message saying, mate, I own your old car. Like, I've got your old RS. And then I broke it to him of its current condition, which would break anyone's heart if you'd sold a car and then found out it was in an accident. But he's been able to give me a whole heap of information on the car, which you just don't normally get when you buy a salvage car. Normally, its history is completely unknown. So the fact that I know the guy who used to own it in a different state is insane. This country is so small. The world is such a small place. But it just adds to the story of the car, and I think that's pretty awesome. And speaking of story, I've got to wheel this thing out. I just jumped in to start it up, but it's a bit too loud, so I think I'll wheel it out because it needs a wash. Because it's been sitting in the Pickles auction yard and it is filthy. So I'll wheel this out, give it a wash, we'll give it a bit of a clean, start taking it apart and seeing what we need to replace and just how big the damage bill is going to be. All right, so it's looking pretty good now. It's looking, well, it's looking clean at least. It doesn't have dirt marks on it, and that's a step in the right direction. So next step, I'm gonna go through the interior, start cleaning out the interior. I have noticed that in the passenger footwell, there is a whole bunch of plastics. So if they might be any importance to us, I might be able to weld them back onto where they came. Might save me a little bit of money. So I thought, I'll get them out, lay them out, see what we got. Right, so straight off the rip, that's the battery cover. So that's of use, that's got nothing wrong with it. I think they just took it off to get to the battery at some point. This is cracked off something, so I'll leave that. Velocitech Big Mouth. So this is obviously the intake for the airbox that sits behind the grille, and I'm thinking that went like that. So this is a 3D printed unit. So I wonder how much these are. I can see the print lines on this. So this has been 3D printed, which is interesting. So I wonder how much these cost. Holy dooly, 265 US, 265 US dollars. That's wild. I probably won't be getting another one of those. We'll see what's out there. We'll see how we go. All right, now the car's clean. Well, the exterior is clean. I'm gonna get in the inside and clean the interior up. See if there's any coins sitting between the seats. The usual thing you do when you get a new car. And obviously hit it with the Bissell. So I've got a mix of like a suede Alcantara on the seats and leather. So I've got some of the Bowden's leather love, and I've also got the Bissell, the main parts of the seat, and get all that grime out. You really want to scrub it and vacuum that shit out. And it's never good when you use a Bissell on a car and you see the shit that's in the seats. It's always a bad time, but we're gonna do it, make this thing fresh as all hell before we start inspecting the damage and really getting into it. And of course, I've got the Dyson with the old Milwaukee battery attachment. I'm telling you, if you got one of these Dysons and you don't have the Milwaukee battery attachment, you're only hurting yourself, okay? And your family. So spend it's like 20 bucks off eBay, just get it done. I'm using a 12 amp hour battery. Of course, it's not a Milwaukee branded battery because I don't have a spare $6,000 for a 12 amp hour Milwaukee battery. But I do have 50 bucks for the Temu version, and that does the job just fine on this little Dyson. I can hit max boost mode for like 15 minutes on this thing now. So it makes cleaning a car so much easier. There we are, oil filter. Car's already paying for itself. Yeah, well, like I said, doing your seats makes you cringe a little bit, but now they are fresh and they even smell brand new now. But cleaning the interior doesn't do anything for us in the way of getting this car back on the road. So I think it's time, let's start pulling it apart, see what we got. I'm pretty sure I've already got everything, but you never know. You take some stuff apart and then you realize you need X and Y. So first things first, take the other headlight out, get the rest of the accoutrements out, take the intercooler off, see if I can send the intercooler anywhere to get it tested, and get this whole front cross member section off, which is this bar here and this section here, which holds the radiator and the headlights and all that sort of jazz. So rip all that off. Hopefully that's the extent of it and we're good to go. Obviously take the bonnet off as well. But yeah, I can already see things like that's totally cooked there. So let's get it all off and see what we can find. First thing that is cooked, obviously the front bar. Now, a lot of the grille sections and whatnot are still pretty good, so I can use those on the new front bar. So I've got a new front bar on its way, should be here in a couple of days. That's that sorted. Let's keep going. Now we do have these brake vents, which that's actually still good to go. It's just the foam has perished around the outside of it. On the other side here, she's a wee bit loose, and we do have this computer housing, which has snapped off from its points. However, all the plastic is still there. So with a little bit of plastic welding, I could make this look pretty much brand spanking new, because I don't imagine anyone would want to sell the housing without the computer in it. And that might cost a fair chunk of sauce. So I'll take that off and see how we go with repairing the case. And this, I'm pretty sure that's just, yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that down there, but it's just popped out of its little hole. So that is good to go. Other than that, we're gonna need to take some shit off. So I'm gonna start off with the intercooler, and after the intercooler's off, start taking off anything associated with this front bar here, and we'll start loosening the radiator. Now I say that with such confidence, almost like I know what to take off and in what order. I don't, so I could be lying to you. I could take it off in the opposite order, in the reverse, some would say. I'm just gonna get my rattle gun and make noises until things come off. Well, that went a lot better than my recent situation on the XC. So after pulling it all apart, we are left with the following: front bar, upper radiator, crash bar, bonnet, both headlights cooked, and the intercooler, which I had a look at, looks good to go. Thankfully, because that thing was bloody expensive. So the intercooler just needs a coat of fresh paint and the fins combed out a bit, it should be smicko. So here is the new crash bar and upper radiator support. Now it is bright yellow, and notice it's the same color as those ST Ford Focuses, because this is off an ST. And for some reason, they color code these parts of the car, which is silly. So I was thinking of dropping it off at the same time as the bonnet and the front bar and getting them all painted in the same blue, just to get it all matching and like factory. But I feel like this should be black, especially this crash bar here, which you can see behind the front bar, behind the grille. So I feel like it should be black, just so you don't see anything. So here's that replacement part. I've got the bonnet just outside, and all the plastics that go over the crash bar and in front of the radiator, I've got those too. They're sitting there. So we're pretty much straight off the rip. We're ready to put everything back together. Just got to paint this front section here. It is a horrible day for it. I've had to open and close the roller door all day because the rain and the wind is just blowing in. So I don't think I'll be painting that today. And that's pretty much it to put it all back together. Obviously just got to paint that black. So I think I'll call it there. On the next video, I'll be putting it all back together, minus the bonnets and the front bar, which need to go to paint. So the bumper should be arriving hopefully in a couple of days, and I can take it straight to the paint shop and get that done. So really all that's left is to transfer bits of rubbers and bits of clips and all that sort of jazz onto the new one, which I actually think it's already got them on, but we'll see what's missing, transfer the difference, freshen up this intercooler, and I'm not entirely sure what's rocking up with the front bar. I did buy the front bar assembly from a Ford dealer in Melbourne, and there was no picture of it. So I'm not sure if like the bare bones thing's rocking up with no lights, no mesh, no grill, no nothing, or if the whole thing's rocking up. We'll find out together when it arrives. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I did have a look at the rest of the plastics around the engine bay, and it doesn't seem like anything else is broken. But once I start putting the new parts on, that's when I'll start to realize, oh, that doesn't come with it, and that's broken, I'll need to order that. I feel like this might be one more trip to the wreckers to grab all the odd bits and whatnot. So I'll get it all together. Whatever I'm missing, go to the wreckers, grab it all. It's a Ford Focus, so there's about 1 million of these at the wreckers at the moment. And that should be that, cut and shut. Pretty easy deal. I'll tell you what though, look at that interior. You saw how the driver's seat was a little bit cooked. It's just come up. It's come up a treat. Nice, clean and fresh. And the inside of the car smells amazing as well. And that is the end of the day and the end of this episode. You can see it's on the dollies because now I obviously can't drive it, and I'm not really a big fan of driving it back and forward for 2 meters and then turning it off again. I want to prevent any damage done to the engine. So we'll keep it on the wheel dollies so we can move it around the workshop. And I've got to move this back, get all those parts out of here and bring Emma's car in before it really starts pissing down a lot more. So if you enjoyed the episode, hit the like. Hopefully you enjoyed it enough to even subscribe and keep up with the journey of the RS, because I'm pumping this one out really quick, an episode a week for you guys. To keep it interesting, to keep it exciting, and also to keep me accountable and just keep doing work and get it done. Because there is nothing worse than a car that takes up space in your garage for months, if not years. I couldn't think of anything actually worse. Yeah, horrible thought. So get this done quickly, get it registered, get it on the road, get it to the racetrack, and just have a good time. So I'll see you on the next episode when we're installing the whole front end and having even more of said good time. See you then.